Justine, we have a question from Esan from Balbriggan Educate Together. It's quite a deep question, but he wants to know, when you were small, did you always want to be an engineer? And what was it that inspired or influenced you to do it?
I suppose the answer would be no. I didn't know what I wanted to be. I suppose my dad is an engineer, and the way I kind of look at it is what your favourite subjects would be in school. So my favourite subjects would always be the first subject I do for homework, and it used to always be maths. I didn't mind if I had loads of maths homework, whereas I hated if I had languages or English. So maths was my favourite subject, and I actually just did better at maths. And the same with chemistry. So my dad, as he's an engineer, would have seen that they were my stronger subjects. So he suggested that engineering might be the way for me. I'm not the type like Bart. I didn't fix things. I'm a bit of a girly girl. I didn't take things apart, but I'm very logical, which I think is the other side of things. Everything has to make sense. If there's a problem, I fix it. And I think that's how I get into it, and how I think I'm a good engineer, that my dad suggested that route for me, and I finally realised that I may not fix things or be as hands-on, but I'm logical, and that's how my mind kind of works. So
great. I can certainly relate to that. I certainly had the pinkest Barbie out there, and now I'm a heavy physicist in the lab, so I'm quite happy. Yeah. But how about you, Niamh? Did anything inspire or influence you?
I think science fiction like Doctor Who and Star Trek had a huge influence.
Okay.
Yeah, it was sort of a big family thing. Like, that was our common bond. We all had this fascination for science fiction. And like yourself, Justine, my dad was an engineer as well, so we were kind of throwing plugs to take apart and stuff. But then I was always sort of writing as well, you know, so I sort of wanted to do everything. Like, I wanted to be a ballerina as much as an astronaut at the same time. If I could combine those two things, I would have done it. I might yet.
There's still time, Niamh, absolutely.
So there was lots of kind of like what you're saying, Justine. There was I like to categorise things. So the logic kind of always sort of appealed to me. But then I always liked beautiful things as well. Like, I had my Cindy before Barbie. I had all that going on as well. So it was a slow evolving, and like that kind of a good guidance from my parents. And from my older siblings, like my brother and sister, were obviously influenced as well. Like, what they liked, I liked. So they all influenced me. You know?
Great.
Patrick, if I could just add to what Niamh said, that I know that Niamh has an interest in the art side and brought the engineering side, but I actually have an interest in the beauty side. And even though you can't hugely mix, well, I haven't mixed beauty and engineering yet, but I have a part-time beauty business outside of engineering. So, and I kind of realised I like that during my course in college. So I think if somebody has an interest in something, and you go down one route as your proper career, that you don't necessarily have to completely sideline. You can actually take it on and do kind of two things together. And
they could eventually become the one thing.
They could merge together.
I'm finding.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay. I think lots of people have lots of passions. It's okay to have more than one. And I think sometimes when you're filling out that CAO form, you think you can only be one thing. No, there's lots of things, and you can change careers at any time.
I just think as well, it's worth saying that, I mean, like, engineering, in terms of what we see every day, not everyone goes into engineering in a manufacturing environment or on site, and that's a really big thing to get across. I mean, we have people ring us for finance jobs, and they don't want, you know, they want engineers. They don't have to have, you know, experience. They like the way they think. They like the way they solve problems. I mean, and it's important to get that across. You can work in sales, teaching, but, you know, banking, finance. I think some of the top CEOs in the world have engineering degrees. And you look at the likes of like Alfred Hitchcock, he had an engineering degree. You don't necessarily have to go down those routes, and I think it's important to get that kind of out there.
Certainly the sense that I'm getting is there's no sense of boundaries. You can be whoever you are and be an engineer at the same time. Exactly. You don't need to choose between the two.
Unlike Justine and Niamh, my parents weren't engineers. They didn't go to university, and I had a very strong interest in fixing things and taking things apart, but I didn't have an interest in maths. I mean, I had to do maths, but I wasn't particularly interested in the engineering subjects. But a lot of my family, my friends, my parents' friends saw this, I suppose, engineering in me, and I suppose their feedback was engineering could be a very interesting profession for you. So for those people out there whose family aren't engineers, or maybe their parents didn't go to college as well, I think if you have a technical interest or a logical mind or solving problems, I think there is definitely a career in engineering for you.
Great, thank you.